Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to ECU students about study abroad. And I am in the anthropology department. I'm particularly a cultural and medical anthropologist. And so I wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about the Peru program. I've been taking students to my research site in the Andean Highlands for the past 5 years. And we have been spending a lot of time learning about the culture of the people that live in the Andes, as well as learning how to do essentially collect data as cultural anthropologists by doing ethnographic interviews. Yeah, thank you. So let me tell you just a little bit about some of the details of the program. I'm going to be offering the program in the summer of 2021, the second summer session, so the month of July. It has 6 credit hours that are available for students to take. 2 courses, one that focuses on the culture of the Andean Highlands and another one that focuses on research methods in cultural anthropology. The total cost of the program is $3,800, and that includes some meals, in country staying, in-country transportation, and any cultural excursions that we go on, but airfare is additional. We spend 4 weeks approximately in the Andean Highlands, learning first about the research methods of cultural anthropology, and then actually students get the opportunity to go out and do ethnographic interviews. So go out and see what it's like to collect cultural anthropological data. And for the past several years, I've been focusing on a research project that centers around looking at women's health in the Andean Highlands. This is in part because I am a medical anthropologist. And so students have been helping me with a longitudinal project there, looking at the relationship between stress that specifically impacts women and how that negatively affects their health. We will start the program in Lima, Peru, which is the capital of Peru, and this is where students will fly into. And this program is a little bit different than some of the study abroad programs at ECU in the sense that we don't actually stay at a university's campus. We spend most of our time actually out in a remote area of Peru near my research site. But for the first few days that we're in Peru, we will be spending some time in the capital and also visiting Isan University, which is a university that ECU has a partnership with there. So there will be some opportunities to meet college students in Peru. Majority of the time, though, will be spent in the Andean Highlands. We have a couple images here taken of pirates in the Huascarán National Park. So we will go and visit some of the sites that are in the particular part of Peru where we're working. We will be spending some time both as tourists in some sense, but then also as cultural anthropologists. And here's one example of working as a cultural anthropologist. So students in this particular study abroad program have the unique opportunity to go out and do what is called participant observation, or going out and participating and observing the culture that they're studying. And so this is an example of one of my students working with a highland farmer. Majority of the people that live in the Callejon de Hualas Valley, which is the valley in Peru where we will be working, are farmers, and they spend their time involved in various agricultural activities. So this is one of my students from a past year learning how to plow using bulls, which is a common type of plowing technique that's used in the Andes. We also spend some time helping out with various community activities. A lot of those that are happening in the month of July are related to the harvest, because that's usually one of the harvest times of the year. And these are some students here helping to harvest some of the highland tubers. Oca and Oyuco and Oca are 2 common tubers that are grown high in the Andes. And so the students had the opportunity to go out and help a community that was harvesting, and they also then had the opportunity to eat some of these tubers as well. These are some images here of the students conducting ethnographic research, doing interviews as cultural anthropologists, and they're were focused on various activities, had different topics that they were studying. Some of the students were focused on the Women's Health Project that we're working on. Other students were interested in climate change, so they were asking people to talk a little bit about the effects of climate change that they had noticed in their particular part of the Andes. So there are opportunities for other kinds of research projects to be integrated into the program if a student is interested in a different topic. We also will visit two different artisan communities. One of those is a community that specializes in weaving. And this is just an example here of one of the rugs that the Galan family has wove. And the students had the opportunity to learn about how these particular rugs are woven, what are the different techniques that they're using, and they also had the opportunity to try to see if they would be able to weave and replicate, not something, of course, that's this complicated, but they did have an opportunity to use some of the hand looms that the Highlanders use. And then lastly, I mentioned earlier that we're often helping out the community with various agricultural activities, one of those which was harvesting, and I mentioned that the students got to eat some of what we had harvested. So this is an example of an event that we do at the end of the trip. It's what's called a pachamanca, which is basically a cooking process of cooking a lot of different types of tubers over hot rocks for a couple hours, and then you get to actually eat those roasted tubers. And this is usually a type of cooking event that would happen with a large group of people in the community. So there's another opportunity here to get to interact with the local community and to see what types of cultural activities people might do on a yearly basis. So I kind of summarize the Peru program. There are opportunities for lots of community interaction. There's opportunities to learn about the culture of the Andean Highlands, and also opportunities to learn about research methods in cultural anthropology. And I'll now answer any questions.
Okay, we have a question that's come through. A student is asking if they can participate without knowing the native language.
Yes, it's a very good question. So there are no language requirements for the Peru program. Sometimes students that have gone in the past have had an interest in speaking Spanish, or they have had some Spanish language classes, but that is not a requirement to go on the program.
Okay. So it sounded like this program traveled around quite a bit. How do you suggest students pack when they're traveling that much?
So I typically recommend that the students take either a backpack, like a larger backpack, or some type of duffel bag, because we do spend some time traveling around, and using rolling suitcases is often very difficult, especially in the Andes where we're in really steep terrain. And I usually also recommend that the students, pack the types of clothing and items that they would take for maybe like a hiking, or for doing some type of long distance traveling, maybe around, like backpacking around Europe, for example. That's the type of packing that you usually want to do for the Peru program.